Welcome everybody to today's episode of The Sit Down. We are very excited to have an opportunity to host a superstar. He's the best in his field. His name is Tace Ace, owns a company called Fallen Heroes. Now, if you've ever thought about getting a tattoo, or perhaps big or small, 6 to 8 months before you can sit in his chair. Why? Because he's tattooed some of the most famous people on the planet, like the Palatowns, the Rugby World Cup winning team, the Springboks, DJ Fresh, and many more. He's a very, very big gentleman, a loving father, a devoted husband, and just one of the most creative people in South Africa. Welcome to our show, sir. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, you are 42 years young. You are a master in your field. I mean, just your composure, your way of just communicating with everybody. You can see you're a person that is comfortable in his own skin, very creative, looking around, like gathering everything inside you. You know who you are, and you're very comfortable in your skin. How do you look, sound, think? You know, what is going on through your mind when you were 17? If we took you back into time, at the time when you were 17 years old, like, did you ever think that you'll be able to meet as many famous people? We had an off the camera discussion, and you know, I name dropped a few people that we've met, and you've worked on most of them. So have you closed your eyes at 17 and imagined this, or is this all just a big dream?
I think art was always part of the dream. I always wanted to draw something or on someone, or I definitely, that was always, I always wanted to work for Walt Disney or be a comic book artist. That was the main things. And you know, back then South Africa was still very young in the you know, the rest of the world. We were just let back in, and
yes, we were allowed to communicate with
now
everyone.
all of a sudden there's new people to look at. So but I was unfortunately told at that stage that I should rather do IT, and then if that doesn't work, then I can maybe draw something. But yeah, I was told that art was not a thing. Okay. So yeah, at 17, I was more about riding my skateboard and trying to just avoid anyone that told me what to do. So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So rebel with a cause.
Yeah, something like that.
So you know, getting into your high school career, coming out of high school, you know, did you study IT? You mentioned IT earlier.
Well, it would have been a good idea, but we didn't have a computer. And I mean, like, now I know that everyone have a computer in their pockets, but so I didn't go study anything. I worked at a surf shop.
At a surf shop.
Yeah.
And how do you stumble into, you know, how do you get an opportunity to showcase your work? Who was the first person that you worked on? How does this happen?
It's actually so there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened. I did eventually go study graphic design. It was the closest thing to that.
Okay.
And then from there, you kind of have this idea of what graphic design is going to be. It's going to be drawing pictures and looking cool and stylish and all that kind of stuff that goes with graphic design. But I couldn't handle sitting in front of a computer. That was the worst thing for me. It didn't talk back. It didn't do anything. It was just there. And yeah, so I decided to, my brother-in-law actually wrote a movie, Afrikaans movie called Oma se Slimkind.
Okay.
And he said, he asked me if I would storyboard the movie for him. I did that with the director of photography, and he really liked, we connected very well. So he asked me on set, and hung out on set for a bit. And eventually the 2 camera assistants got fired.
Oh, wow.
And while they were looking for someone to replace these guys, I stepped in and started helping and just learning how to roll cables and be out the way and not make too much noise.
Okay, so roll cables, be out the way, not make a noise.
Yes, so that became...
that was your first job.
Yes, exactly. And that stayed like that.
Beautiful.
The film industry, yeah. So I pretty much took that on for 7 years, and eventually I got a job, and the people lost their finances, so they had us on hold for 3 months, and we couldn't find work because our agent wouldn't book you if you're already on a job, because then they have to buy you out, and all the complications that comes with that. So
all the contracts and the bureaucracy and all that other stuff. Yeah.
So 3 months in, I thought, yes, I got to start paying for this car. They're gonna come fetch me. So
put you on your feet.
I went to a tattoo shop and said, hey, guys, I draw pictures for for a living. Not for a living, just I draw pictures.
Yeah.
I can maybe draw some tattoo designs, and if someone likes it, then they can pay me 200 rand for it or whatever. So I started selling designs, and before I knew it, I was being asked to do the tattoo that I drew, and it obviously didn't go down as well as what everything sounds like. But it was. Before I knew it, I was in the thing I was supposed to do.
And how old are you at that stage? You 7 years after finishing school, so you probably...
No. It was 10 years after school. Yeah, I turned 31 when I started tattooing.
So your first tattoo, do you remember the first tattoo?
Yeah.
What did you draw on the person?
It hurt like hell, and it was the number 1.
Number 1. Okay.
Well, it was the word number 1.
Oh, the word.
That one right there.
Okay, so that's the first one
that's
you ever did.
First person
and you did it on yourself.
Yes.
Beautiful, good man.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, if you were to go back and start your career all over again, and our channel delivers. Our silver lining, our gold lining is learning from everybody's mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. If you were to go back and take one thing with you in the beginning of your career, what would that one thing be? And say, if I should start over again, this is the one thing I'm going to bring with me, and it will work out.
Probably the number one thing for me was to not chase the love of what you do and not what it can pay you.
Okay.
Like, don't let the money be the deciding factor. If you love what you do, it'll love you back, and the money will be there if it needs to. If it'll take care of you.
Absolutely, I fully agree. In business as well, if you make the main thing, serve a customer, deliver a product or service that is superior to anybody else, the money will be a symptom or a byproduct of whatever it is that you do. Awesome, that's great. So put the love of what you do first and not money.
Yeah.
Awesome, I love it. In our company, we say profit comes second, customer satisfaction comes first.
Yeah.
If you keep doing that one thing, you're going to win long term. You might not win short term, but long term, you're winning.
No, definitely.
100%. Yeah. COVID, we're going to dive into it, boom, and jump out of it, because we're on the tail end now. It is winter, more people are, they're coughing, but the regulations are not as strict, and I believe we're on the tail end of it. If you could say a lesson that COVID taught you as a human being and as an entrepreneur, I mean, you've got 9 of the best tattoo artists on the African continent sitting in your shop. What is the one thing that, obviously your shop was closed during COVID and you struggled because it's a very intimate experience. What is the one thing that you learned out of COVID as a person and an entrepreneur?
I think what COVID taught me was that you don't have as much control as you think.
Yes.
of any situation. And it's also taught me that if you treat people with respect, and I always believed that, even before COVID, I believed that if you have a shop and you're the boss, you'll never win. You'll never get to the top. You'll never work with the best. You'll never, because you'll always think you're the best. Where my mindset was always look after the people that look after you, and it creates a family vibe. And so far, that is probably what kept Fallen Heroes going through all this lockdown stages. And it was just that everyone that worked there hung in there and brought the best to the table.
Beautiful. And I think the fact that it takes a person between 6 and 8 months just to be able to sit in front of you is a testament on what you just said. The moment that you are the boss when you walk in, you know, and I love what you said. The moment that you feel that you're the best, you will never ever attract the best, because in your mind you are already there. I love it. It's beautiful. Very nice. And if I may ask, your biggest failure, your landmine, we speak of landmines, you stepped on it, poof, it blew your leg off, but you survived. If you could share maybe one or two with our audience, so that perhaps we know exactly the location of that landmine and we don't need to step inside it, because you're
Is this a
already
landmine
there.
of business or just life in
Just
general?
life, just life.
Yeah, I think it's a very common thing, and it's something that I think many more people, or a lot more people than I have learned this, is to not do business with friends.
Not do business with friends.
Friends or family, it just doesn't work. My wife and myself opened my shop, and for some reason we work very well. So yeah. But any other family, it's always been, or friends, it's been chaos. It's learning curves, and I'm a people's pleaser person, and I've learned to try and please me before anyone else. It's a hard lesson to have learned, but if I'm not happy, I can't expect anyone else to be happy with what I give them. So
absolutely, I come first. If I'm happy, I can transfer that energy to my wife, to everyone. We're in a family business as well. I work with my mom, my father, and my sister. So at home, each one has a role. This is the rules that we've set. When you work with family, this is great advice. You need to sit down, have a family meeting, and decide, who are you at home? So at home, I'm a son, I'm a brother. At work, I'm someone else.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a differentiator. When we're at work, you need to see me as this person. At home, I'm your son and I'm your brother. But at work, I'm the CEO of a company. So even if I'm steering the ship towards an iceberg, you need to trust me that there's a reason why we're going towards the iceberg. And many people don't realize that.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Beautiful. Now, I want to dive into some juicy stories, if you may. So, have you ever had a tough guy, someone that you thought, wow, what a machine, sit there by you and not be as tough as one might think? Because I don't know what it feels like to get a tattoo. My sister's got many. And she says, yeah, the first one is like okay-ish, then you get used to it. Have you ever had that experience with someone that you thought, okay, this is a nice person to work on, and you're like, okay, he's not handling it?
Yeah.
If you may.
We have them all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. And it's the most unassuming person. It's like you say, like this guy will walk through the door and it looks like a pit bull just entered the shop. And you're like, this guy is going to sit for days. And he would be there for 2 hours and say, no, okay, thank you, but no thank you.
And leave.
Yeah, and then you'll get the scrawniest little guy that looks like he's still got his computer screen stuck to his face. And then he'll sit there and he'll get the biggest tattoo all over his body.
And he'll
just sit there on his Facebook and relaxing. Yeah, so
awesome. So who do you enjoy like working on? Is it people that have had tattoos in the past? Or is it like a fresh newbie? This is gonna be my first one. What do you prefer? Who do you like working?
I really don't mind.
You don't mind?
Yeah, for me, I don't have a heavy hand. So in tattooing, you get people with heavy hands and people with light hands. So a person with and obviously everything in between. But a person with a heavy hand is someone that hurts a lot when they really like feel that they're just a rough tattoo. Not rough in the sense that the tattoo looks rough, but they just make sure that the ink's in.
Okay, I understand.
I've got a little bit of a lighter hand. I brush in and I can see, okay, cool, we're getting there, and then it's gonna look fine.
So it's not as painful.
Yes.
It's not as painful. Okay, great. Now let's dive into perhaps when you were growing up. How does one get blessed with this much creativity? Are you born with it? Is it a practiced art? We always say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a man or a woman. If you could say, these are the 3 people that most influenced me growing up, headed towards this career, who would it be?
Yeah. So it was definitely my mom.
Mom, okay.
That influenced me. She just had a soft way of life, and it felt like when there was a calmness about her, and when I think of her, I always think that's where I go to when I draw and that kind of stuff. So she definitely had an influence on finding a zen place where you can go, okay, I'm going to draw something and just let my mind go, and it's going to come out really amazing. Then I have a friend.
Okay.
Rousseau. He's a sculptor and he's amazing, and we grew up together. And this was our routine was sandwiches, after school sandwiches, then lie on the floor and draw for about 2 hours, and then go play in the garden. And we used to call ourselves Busmans, and then we would just climb through the trees, and yeah, he was a great inspiration for me. Like,
awesome.
Yeah, we pushed each other a lot to just be extra finicky about everything we drew.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Attention to detail. That comes from him, from Rousseau.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And who's the third person?
Third person? Yo. I don't know if there was a third person.
Only two. Okay, great. No problem. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And tell me, you obviously working crazy hours. You start early, you go until late, and you make sure you are hyper focused, because it's a permanent alteration to one's body. That person needs to live with your artwork for the rest of their life. So I can see you a person of high detail, high focus. But if you're off the day, if you are just chilling, hanging out, who are you? Are you still that person with yourself on the floor drawing, or are you just hanging out watching Netflix, playing with the kids? What do you do when you are free?
So it's so strange, because we'll always have conversations that start off with, have you seen this episode of Ink Masters? And then I always have to reply with, I really don't like to go watch other people work when I'm done with work,
Yes.
Like, that's kind of the thing. After work, I really love to hang out with my family. My boys, they're really cool people. They're cool.
How old are they?
They're 4 and 7.
No tattoos yet?
Not yet.
Not
no,
yet,
no,
okay,
no,
cool.
no.
Just give them a few more years.
They just don't sit still enough.
Okay.
So. No, but yeah, so it's really nice to hang out with them. And then I ride mountain bike. So yeah, I do a bit of free riding, and yeah, I do some medium-sized jumps and some downhills. Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. We had Nick Bester on the show before.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who
Yes,
you obviously know who he is. Yeah. It's a fascinating sport.
Yeah.
I really, after I spoke to him, I've started cycling a little bit. I'm not brave enough to phone him up and say, listen, let's go for a weekend run. I'll need about 9 months of preparation before I can go for a nice stroll with him. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Mountain biking is
it's really something else.
Very cool. So, best advice anybody has ever given you?
There's so much. Don't sweat the petty.
Don't sweat the petty.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the petty. If you can put it in context.
So don't worry about the things that you have no control about, and that is just not relevant to your life.
Okay.
It was actually my mentor, and I did a tattoo for him about it, and he got the tattoo, and it wasn't my best work, but I had a few chances to get it to look nicer. But yeah, he was the kind of guy that would not worry about the small things and say, don't let the things that can't get you down be the things that get you down, kind of thing.
Absolutely. It makes perfect sense. I think, if you put it in context, if you're not going to worry about it in 5 years, why worry about it now? It's anything outside of, and this is a Gary Vee quote, anything outside of the health and safety of the people that you love the most is not really relevant.
Yeah.
Because material things, you can go and build it up again. It doesn't matter.
Definitely.
The health, that obviously is something that you should, but that's not petty.
No.
But yeah, I love the advice. Beautiful.
No.
If you could spend one day with anybody, who would it be? And what's the one question you're dying to ask that person?
Sure. I would probably like to spend a day with Elon Musk.
Yes, me too. What would you ask him?
Why doesn't he bring out a proper bucky? He's from South Africa.
Dude, where's
Make
the
a bucky.
buckies? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I think Cybertruck, 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
They say it will be made. Is it a proper bucky?
No.
No, maybe.
Not yet.
Not
we'll
yet,
see.
yeah.
We'll
Maybe
see.
the revised version will
Yeah.
be a proper bucky,
Yeah.
proper double
He's from
cab
Pretoria.
electric.
He should know these
You
things.
should know these things. Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree. Okay, tell me. You're a fly on the wall. There's a room full of people. What are they talking about? And who's in the room? If you could overhear a conversation.
Never thought of that. That's an interesting conversation.
So
Yeah.
Joe Black said he wants to know where the Kruger gold is.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I actually listened to a little skit of his just before I got here. Oh, very, very nice.
Yeah, he's got lots of work done.
Yeah.
I don't know if
yes,
you've worked on him.
I saw his hands. And
Yeah.
I haven't worked on him, no. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed his little skit that he made about men being in touch with
Yes.
who they should be.
Yes.
Yeah. If I was a fly on the wall, I would love to be in Putin's office and just to find out what is
his
the
plan?
reasoning behind this and where is it going.
Yeah, I think, obviously war in this day and age should always have been avoided. But, everybody's motivated by different things. A fly on the wall in his office with these 9 or 10 or 6 or 2, whoever, how many ever people, I would love to be, your friend, also fly on the wall on that wall just to find out what's going on really. And tell me, are you a big reader?
No.
No.
I can't read. I am dyslexic.
Okay.
I struggle.
Dyslexic. Okay, love it. Do you do Audible?
I don't. I just listen.
You just listen. Okay, beautiful. Let's get into your first car. What was your first car? And the color?
It was a powder blue or baby blue Renault 5.
Renault 5, baby blue.
Yes.
Any interesting stories?
Yeah. I worked at Studderford's the whole December, and I worked double shift. So in the early shift, I would try and sell clothes to people, and then in the later shift, I would wrap presents because it was December.
Okay.
So did that, and I managed to make 4,000 rand.
Beautiful.
And then I walked from Menlyn to my house. It was about 10 k's, and I walked past the guy's house with a Renault 5 in his driveway that said 4,000 rand.
Beautiful.
So I knocked on the door and I said, "Can I buy this car?" And he laughed, and he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "No, I've got 4,000 rand," and I took the money out of my pocket. I was like, "There's the 4,000 rand. Can I buy this car?" And the reason why I had it on me is because I used to draw the money and then I would keep it in my cupboard, and I would put it down, and then every day I can take like 20 rand from the top, and then the pile of 20 rand would get less until I get paid again.
And then you build
and that was my system. So I gave him the whole bunch, and I said to him, "Cool, can I thank you so much?" And he said, "Well, who's going to sign for this car?" So I was like, "I'll go get my mom." So I walked out the door and I turned around and said, Can I take my car to go get my mom?"
What did he say? Cool.
And he just laughed so much, and he said yes. And I literally lived down the road and went and fetched my mom, and she went and signed all the stuff. And
Beautiful.
It was quite funny.
Beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. I love the story. And it's amazing that all the savings were 4,000 rand and you happen to walk past that vehicle.
It was very, very much fate. It was like,
So, what's coming up next in your life? Where can people come and see you, come and shake your hand, come and check out your shop? What's the best way to make a booking with you or one of the other 9 artists? Which channel do you most actively respond on? Is it Instagram? Where can one get a hold of you?
So what we've done at the shop is we've linked all our social medias to the email. So pretty much if you get hold of us on Twitter or on, maybe not Twitter. We're more about
Elon
pictures.
Musk.
So
Yeah.
So
Insta?
Instagram, definitely. Facebook, our website. Anywhere from there, you can mail us or phone in. You can phone in, but you're going to get asked to mail your references, and so it's just easier to send your stuff through
Via email.
Via email, and then that'll start the chain of communication. And we have Mel and Jess that runs a tight ship. They do all the bookings. When you send a picture through of Garfield and they want a tattoo from Nick, they will say Nick does not do Garfield. It's not his style. We've got, like Roger that'll do Garfield for you. So very knowledgeable people that know exactly what the artists do, what they want to do, what they want to push, so that you can get the best tattoo out of the people, So you're not going to sit with Van Gogh to get a Mona Lisa.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. So best way is email. Start the process, start the communication. They'll put you up with a person that will give you the most effective result and take it up from there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing experience. Your energy, your calmness, your demeanor is it's very, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was awesome to meet you. Awesome to spend time with you.
Awesome. And you guys.
Have a great day, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this interview.